the most popular, preferred chief minister of India. This is a very, very interesting finding. And as the slide comes up on our screen, it is no surprises there, Yogi Adityanath. But it is an interesting finding when you look at the fact that the BJP took its biggest knock in the state of Uttar Pradesh, of which Yogi is the chief minister. One could have thought that after that Lok Sabha verdict, Yogi Adityanath would be a weaker chief minister. Yet, your findings show two important things to talk about. One, Yogi's popularity, and two, the fact is that no matter what the challenges towards her, that have come her way, including the RG Kaur rape and murder case, Mamata Banerjee seems to hold her own among opposition leaders. So let's talk about this finding on our screen. The popularity of Yogi Adityanath in poll after poll, it's come down a little bit when you do a comparison, but he continues to hold his own.
Well, thanks, Barkha. Yeah. So the idea of the MOTN, twice annually and across all the years is basically to keep a check on what exactly is happening. And as you correctly mentioned, he remains number one in the perception mapping, but there are many caveats, like you mentioned, that his numbers actually came down
Yeah.
when you compare to January last year. That's a solid drop in double digits actually, and that is largely because he could not deliver UP the way it was supposed to be delivered. In the
Yeah.
way it was expected to be delivered. I guess that Yogi Adityanath is an amazing phenomena, amazing in that way that he is more popular outside Uttar Pradesh than he is inside Uttar Pradesh. So that's a very classical 22
Yeah.
situation. When you talk to largely, and as we all know, that NDA or the BJP collective vote share is almost has been BJP itself is roughly around 40% and NDA are about 5% more. So
Yeah.
basically, that's a vote bank that BJP enjoys. And if you ask the BJP supporters, a huge chunk of them arguably name Yogi Adityanath as the most popular chief minister across India in that way. That's hence his ranking as number one. But there are two different CM rankings. One, when we talk about the top of the mind recall, that is on your screen, and another one when we map the chief ministers in terms of their own ranking within their own state, with their own ratings, satisfaction ratings. And that is where the eye opener thing comes in, that Yogi Adityanath is not even in the top 10 chief ministers of all India when you talk about the chief minister's performance in their own state. So this is where the hard check of reality and perception comes in. While on one hand, yes, the perception is he remains the most talked about and mass favorite as far as the BJP vote bank is concerned, to be seen as the chief minister every chief minister should be modeled or every chief minister should be working on. When you talk to the people inside Uttar Pradesh, that is where number of people who like him are almost matched by the number of people who absolutely dislike him. And this is an interesting aspect, an important aspect, Barkha, because many a times, friends across the social media platforms, even on Twitter, they do ask me, what is the net popularity rating number? And it's very easy to understand, Barkha. We ask for each and every chief minister within their state, how satisfied are you with the performance of your chief minister? So there would be a positive yes. Suppose X number is yes, and X number say no, we are not satisfied at all. X minus Y is what the net is. So to become a really good popular chief minister, not only you have to be liked by many, but you have also to be disliked by minimum possible numbers.
So
You are
you're
sup- you
saying, so you are
Yeah.
saying, just to understand this correctly, that while Yogi Adityanath remains top of the mind recall nationally, in his own home state of Uttar Pradesh, he's a polarizing figure. So therefore, there are people who like him, and there are as many people who currently are dissatisfied. His popularity inside UP has taken a knock.
Exactly, and that tells you why the BJP numbers in UP came down.
Yeah.
Figure. He is a polarizing figure. That is something which one has to keep in mind when you talk about the post Modi scenario, where would the cadres like the leaders look at the leaders and like that, and in that way. But Bakha, at the same time, let's also face this fact that uh, if you compare these things with the probably keeping your Modi in your mind, let's not forget that Modi was super duper popular within his own state all the time. And
Yeah.
then he caught the imagination of the BJP's rank and file across the country. Now, that is something which is kind of paradoxical in the case of phenomena of Yogi. He is super duper popular as far as the BJP mass is concerned outside Uttar Pradesh, but within Uttar Pradesh, he is still a very, very polarizing figure, and he doesn't carry that kind of approval rating that Narendra Modi used to enjoy within Gujarat when he was the chief minister.
Before we move on to who is most likely, given this explanation, to be a contender to succeed Prime Minister Modi, if and when it comes to that, let's spend a couple of minutes talking about Mamta Banerjee. The fact that Mamta Banerjee, who is also a polarizing, not a polarizing figure actually, but there's an urban-rural divide in how Bengal perceives her. There isn't one uniform perception of her outside of Bengal either. When we look at the Sea Voter India Today surveys and we find that 11% say that she is the most preferred chief minister, how do you read those numbers?
Well, she is polarizing in terms of, obviously, Barkha, she has a rock solid support of minorities in her state, but she has got two minorities in that way, Muslims as well as women, two M's as we call it, Muslim and Mahila. So it's not just that she is popular on the communal line; she is also popular on the gender lines. And to be fair, if you look into the two aspects of these ratings, I would really urge all our audience to pick up that India Today issue, and because we have given both the rankings and ratings over
Yeah.
there, and you will realize that if you are among the top 10 in this list and among the top 10 within your own state list, that means you are doing something really good. That means you are stable in terms of performance. And to underline that fact, the
Hmm.
five names on your screen right now, barring
Yeah.
Yogi Adityanath, Mamata Banerjee, Stalin, Chandrababu Naidu, and Devendra Fadnavis, the rest of the four chief ministers are very well rated within their own state as well. Now, for a Mamata Banerjee to score 11% at the pan India level is is an important factor because obviously she is only sitting on a 42 seat pie. I mean, out of the
Yeah.
543.
Yeah.
So at the national level, her numbers would be coming lesser from outside West Bengal. More from the West Bengal itself. But
And in
nevertheless,
Yogi's case, more popularity outside UP than inside
exactly.
UP.
Exactly,
Interesting.
exactly. So that's a plus and the minus point both. So Yogi has a much wider pan India appeal, courtesy the BJP support base, rooted in the Hindutva cause. Mamta Banerjee is still not there because she has never been proposed as the pan India leadership thing
Well,
to lead India government.
she did try and make a pitch for that. And one of our Mojo members asks you, Barkha, is Yogi being more popular outside UP than inside? Is that true for Didi as well? Is it same for other CMs in the poll?
Yes, I mean because other CMs, their numbers are more coming from their own states and less from outside state. So
Yeah.
that's a funny kind of thing. So as I said, it's good and the bad, both for Yogi. Good in a way that he has captured the imagination of the BJP's rank and file. Bad in a way that you just cannot have a pan India campaign if you do not enjoy unchallenged one way popularity within your own home turf. And that is something which he has to manage. I think the dent which you see in his numbers in when you compare to last year and this year is largely because a big section of particularly the BJP's supporters also feel that that the majority number 272 eluded BJP largely because it failed in Uttar Pradesh. Reasons could be many. I mean, we know that there were
Yeah.
internal squabbles and other things, but reasons could be million. But the thing is that an average BJP worker says that मुंह का स्वाद खराब हो गया because UP से सीट नहीं आई. That took the BJP's number below 272.
So, of course, in a moment from now, we'll be looking at your projections for UP if Lok Sabha elections were held today. But let's move on with this interesting pan-India appeal for Yogi Adityanath, but not as strong on home turf, to the tantalizing question, if ever there comes to a debate around who is best placed to succeed the Prime Minister. That is a question that you have asked. Who is best placed to succeed the Prime Minister? And as that slide comes up, it is obviously the two names that do emerge are Amit Shah and Yogi Adityanath. And there's the slide on your screen. And also the comparisons here between last year and this year are interesting because once again, Yogi's numbers were lower last year. And they're higher this year. And Amit Shah is only now slightly ahead, but he is ahead of Yogi Adityanath as the person that people believe is most likely best placed, best suited to succeed the Prime Minister. And this is
Yeah,
very
I mean,
interesting because Amit Shah has been seen more as the backroom guy, the administrator, the aide to Modi, the number two, but not the mass politician himself.
yeah, it's a typical Atal Advani kind of a scenario which was played 20 years back probably, but in a very different way. I mean, of course, Amit Shah is no Vajpayee and Yogi is no Advani. I mean, but in terms of the cadre and the mass appeal, if you wanna look it from that perspective, probably Yogi has the mass appeal. But at the same time, Amit Shah, who has been the party president and the home minister, and is seen as the right hand man of Prime Minister Modi. His brand positioning is quite intact from that way. And by the way, there are regional variations in that.
Yeah.
Of course, in the north kind of north, Yogi's appeal is more. But Amit Shah has a very significant advantage in the west. He has a significant advantage in the south, by the way. Oddly enough, and that's ironical because Amit Shah is looked up upon as a softer person than compared to Yogi. I mean, in the Hindutva appeal, yeah, it's funny. I mean, it's a question of deep saffron and soft saffron or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
coming from a Gujarat branding,
Yeah.
Amit Shah's branding when he entered politics was deep saffron in that way. He remains
Yeah.
that from the Gujarat branding. But to see that somebody could be even a deeper shade of saffron than him and take the imagination, that's very interesting to observe. But Amit Shah has an advantage in the west. Amit Shah has an advantage in the south. There is a very keen number contest in the east, but Yogi has a very distinct advantage as far as numbers from the north are concerned.
But of course, one should say that in realpolitik, the BJP doesn't choose its successors in this manner. It's not based on how necessarily
So
the
true.
people perceive it, right? There has been high drama to Modi's own selection as the leader of the BJP in 2014, if for those of us old enough to remember that. But of course, this will play a part. Who is perceived to be the strongest leader, the most saffronized leader. There's one difference also. Amit Shah has been in government, and governments tend to moderate perceptions. You have to be moderate in government. Yogi, I mean, in
But he
running
is
a
in
national
government.
government. Yeah.
He is in government, and also the fact that he has been a party president and knows the organization. Amit
Yeah.
Shah's biggest probably push comes from the fact that he has worked with the organization. Another big difference between the five people here are three of them have been the national presidents. I mean, barring Shivraj Singh Chauhan. Four of them are rooted in RSS. Only Yogi Adityanath is the only odd one out who is a saffron symbol, but who does not really come from the RSS rank and file. And that certainly is a big checkbox to tick on if you want to proceed on that journey. So obviously the rest four of them do a proper check mark on that. Shivraj Singh Chauhan obviously has won multiple terms in Madhya Pradesh, an organization man and an RSS man. And so is Rajnath Singh, and so is Nitin Gadkari for sure, and
Yeah.
so is Amit Shah. So they all tick on that box very nice and comfortable.
And Yogi Adityanath is not from an RSS background, and people who don't observe
No, not at
politics
all.
politics
Not
carefully
at
do
all.
not know this. They see his saffron robes and they think, "Huh, ye to RSS ke hi honge." He's not. In fact, he's often been at odds with the RSS in the past.
Yeah, but he is the symbol of a typical Hindutva approach of RSS. I mean, for them to have a monk heading a state is something and we all know for sure that RSS did save him a couple of times in that way whenever there was a problem, internal problems within the BJP. RSS did put their weight behind Yogi. So it's not that RSS did not put their weight behind Yogi, but to this much, so much good. I mean, that's where it's good enough. But beyond this, there are certain RSS rules of how you proceed after that. I mean, those kind of things work so hard that at some point of time, even Sushma Swaraj was not really clicking on the check because she was not really coming from the RSS backdrop. She joined the BJP bandwagon only in the 80s. Prior to that, she was anti-Congress for sure, but
Yeah,
she
she was
came
a
from a state where
socialist.
there was no
She was
BJP
a
presence. So
socialist. She was a socialist before she became a BJP leader.
exactly my point. So one when she was not elevated to be the party president, one of the things which was widely discussed was the fact that she was not from the RSS backdrop. So not because she was woman, I mean, from that
Yeah,
way,
yeah.
because we remember that even Rajmata Vijay Raje Scindia was one of the founders and very key person from the but she was always there in that rank and file, and she always had the approval of RSS decision makers. So that was not the case, but here Yogi is a very different case to study on. He certainly is the symbol of the Hindutva brigade. At the same time, doesn't come from the rank and file of the RSS. So the RSS might have an issue in that way, whether or not they would be having an unconditionally disciplined approach coming from
Hmm.
Yogi. That
Yeah.
is something which is always in a question mark.
Now, Yashwant, the main thing is that, as you said, Yogi Adityanath's weakness is his own home turf right now, right? More than the pan India appeal. Now, the interesting question that you ask, and we're picking up three states from your survey: Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, and Bengal. And we'll start with Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh was BJP's biggest upset in June 2024. What would happen if elections were held today? Well, the answers are on your screen from the See Voter India Today Mood of the Nation survey. Um, the NDA does seem to be in repair position, but the India Alliance, particularly the Samajwadi Party, is still in play. That's how I would look at these numbers.
Yes, absolutely. You are bang on. You are bang on. I mean, when you look at the cover, actually, I have the cover with me. I just got
Yeah,
hold of the copy,
yeah,
and when you look at the cover that Raj Chengappa gave in is a back with a bang, if you read it that like
yeah,
that. So,
that's right.
back
Yeah.
with a bang, but UP numbers are not back with a bang. You can
Hmm.
sense. I mean, it is
Yeah.
slightly repairing, but it's still not there. And
Hmm.
that's the reason why I say that there is something which is still lagging out there. They are back with a bang in as far as Rajasthan number is concerned. Certainly Maharashtra back with a bang. I mean, the states which went haywire in that way. Number one UP, number two Rajasthan, number three Maharashtra. So
Hmm.
and Haryana for that matter. So everywhere else they look like back with a bang, barring Uttar Pradesh at this point of time. So
And
Samajwadi Party is
what
still holding the
explains
bag.
that? What explains that? Because in the Lok Sabha elections of 2024, at least those close to Yogi Adityanath argued that his hands were tied in ticket selection. Delhi decided a lot. There was the friction that had taken place between the RSS and the BJP. There were many things at play that seemed to have been repaired in the assembly elections organizationally. But even today, as you said, the UP numbers are not back with a bang. It's repair mode, not victory mode, right? Like that's how we would put it.
Yeah,
And Samajwadi
yeah.
Party is still holding its own. So what is going on here? How do you read UP?
Well, I think a lot of anti-incumbency at micro level is also building up. You know, it's very easy to pin the blame on the CM, but it's not the case. It's not always the case. I mean, at the same time, Yogi's popularity, individual popularity, is also a supplementary and complementary to Prime Minister's popularity. To say that he is not popular at all, that would be a lie. He is popular. It is just that he is a very polarizing figure. So number of people who dislike him are equally bigger in his own state, you know. And that just does not include only the Muslims. There are other upper caste groups as well who are antagonized by the allegations of favoritism.
one community
Yeah, one
being
particular
favored.
community within the
Yeah,
administrations like that. So
yeah.
that anger also was at play in many of the seats, no doubt about that. Having said that, a lot of anti-incumbency has started accumulating at the micro level against the sitting MLAs, MPs. It was so evident. You can see from the Lok Sabha results what happened. If you are repeating the MPs, what actually happened. Same thing is being played out at the micro level within the assembly thing. So now you have got assembly election lined up in 2027, right? We are 2 years. We are sitting in 25. Exactly 2 years from now, we will be looking at the assembly elections in UP. And if they continue not to monitor the working of their sitting MLAs and they repeat the tickets, I think it will be problematic. Barkha, for a simple reason, between 17 and 22, BJP actually lost almost 50 odd seats to Samajwadi Party. That's a big number. If you look
Yeah.
at it that way, it's not a small number. So another 50 odd seats and your number go below the majority mark, right? So it's not an easy calculation to start with. Now with Samajwadi Party, some SP has benefited tremendously from the bipolarization of the state. You know, they are the default gainer of that poll. And BSP is not showing any sign of revival whatsoever. So if they are not showing any sign of revival, the chances of further bipolarization would be more. And from here onward, if there is an angry vote from the administration, from the governance, or from the anti-incumbency, then SP is likely to be benefited from that particular angry vote. Their problem would be more of the Congress originated, because whatever the losses that you are looking from the opposition side, that is largely coming from the Congress baggage. Congress has kind of given away the gains that they got in 2024 Lok Sabha election, not just in perception but also in the ground.
Yeah.
That is where the loss of numbers from the Congress kitty is more than the loss of number from the Samajwadi Party.